technological, pedagogical. Yeah, it stands for technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can integrate it into our educational field.
Right. Yeah. So it's TPAT stands for technology,
Pedagogy
pedagogy,
and content knowledge.
right, and content. And these are all knowledge, right? So this seems kind of simple, but it's not really simple.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about your area, and you have to think about these three distinct kinds of knowledge, or what we say knowledges.
Yeah.
So, like if you think about content knowledge, let's say, let's think about something in science, right? Let's say we're talking about climate change.
Yeah, climate change.
So the content of climate change is what kind of things we have to do? What's the content knowledge of
The
climate
climate change, about the weather, perhaps.
Weather, perhaps?
The community to like adapt with the weather itself.
Right, so how does, hello?
Pak Mura, yes, come in.
Ayo, bergaul.
Come in, Pak.
Tidak salah masuk ruangan nih, Pak.
He's looking for our rooms, perhaps. Welcome, Pak.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Quiet.
Have we met before?
I think we can.
I think we haven't.
Oh.
Maybe we haven't met or we haven't.
Haven't.
Met. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Beth Clark-Gareca.
Yeah, it is his first time to
Okay,
join this
okay.
session.
Great. Okay, welcome. Well, we're just talking about TPAC. Okay, so content knowledge, if we're going to do a science unit about climate change, we have to know about the weather. We have to know about the community impact on the weather.
Oh yeah,
We have to know about pollution.
pollution. Yeah.
We have to know about the ozone layer.
Yeah.
We have to know about storms. And did you hear about what just happened in Libya? Terrible
Yes.
floods in
Yeah,
Libya.
yeah.
Right, and they're saying that that's connected to climate change. So they have to know about the storms and about the effects. Okay, all of that is content knowledge.
Okay.
Okay, all of those things that you know about climate change. Now, if we're still staying with the same unit about climate change, we have to think about pedagogy, or in this case, it would be
Pedagogical. Pedagogical.
knowledge. So, what does pedagogical mean?
The understanding of
Sorry?
understanding of content, understanding of content that we will teach.
And knowing how to teach.
Yeah, how to educate
Right?
our students.
How to educate the students. So I'm sure that you have had teachers before that knew a lot about science or math or engineering or physics or language, but they could not teach it. They didn't know how to talk to people. They
Yeah.
didn't know how to take big ideas and make them into small steps so that students could learn, right?
Yeah.
So there are many, many, many people who are experts in their field and they cannot teach.
Yeah.
So the pedagogical knowledge is knowing how to take a subject and teach it. We also have people who know how to teach, but they don't have any content knowledge. Like, I know how to teach, but I can't teach you economics. I don't know the content. I
Yeah.
could learn the content and then teach it, but I don't know it. So I don't have the content knowledge, but I have pedagogical knowledge. Okay, so you see how that goes. And then the technology part, or the technological knowledge, is what?
Using technology in our class, perhaps in terms of to make them easier to know about the content, also the pedagogical things or the pedagogical implication to the materials, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. So that's the knowledge of how to use technology
Yeah.
to make the pedagogy and the content easier for students.
Yeah.
So these three things together create this idea of TPAC. It seems, this was, I think, in the early 2000s. It seems logical, but it's easy for a person to know the content and know some technology, but they don't know how to teach.
Yeah.
Or they can do pedagogical, technological things, but they don't know the content. So it's easy for one of these things to be gone, and then the lessons don't work. The education doesn't happen. So this is the idea behind TPAC. And here's they call it a framework.
Okay.
And so it's an educational framework. And it was developed by these two people, Mishra and Kohler, in 2006.
Mishra and Kohler.
Yeah. And so there's a nice diagram here
Okay.
of TPAC. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So this is just a picture of what we just talked about. And so here it shows how you can have technological and pedagogical knowledge without content, or you can. The sweet spot is here, where all those things intersect for the best possible learning environment. So, and they talk about technological content knowledge, technological pedagogical knowledge, pedagogical content knowledge. So that's what I was just mentioning to you. So that's the idea behind TPAC. And it has revolutionized the idea of how to use technology in classrooms and educational technology in general. Let me see where else. Right, so here it just describes all of these. Here it just describes all of these different aspects of TPAC. I wonder if there was something else I wanted to show you. Oh no, that's all. So, if we think about, oh, you need some
No.
slides. If you think about,
Okay.
Kita mau di sini, Pak.
yes, sir.
Just come here.
Oh, di situ mungkin.
Sini Pak, Tabe. Iklan.
Saya tidak lihat tulisan.
Oh ya, sini Pak, Tabe.
Situ.
Boleh di sini? Atau? Oke. Tak bisa belakang Ki.
Oh, iya.
Pak.
Kita Tabe. Ya. Okay.
Sorry, I have to
No,
sit
I
here.
understand.
I can't see clearly.
I know, it's very small. It's very small, I apologize for that. Right, so this last sentence kind of says it all, that teachers need not even be familiar with the entire framework as such in order to benefit from it. They simply need to understand that instructional practices are best shaped by content-driven, pedagogically sound, and technologically forward-thinking knowledge. So we want those three things together. So I want to ask you to think about something. What is a topic that you teach in your classes?
In my class, I talk about descriptive
Descriptive text.
kinds of text, such as descriptive text.
Okay, so the
General English.
general English.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're talking about types of text.
Descriptive text focus on personal information.
Okay, so personal information, narrative text, that
Yeah.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
Types of text, so personal information, narrative,
Bawah atau sisi English.
what else?
In the term of the grammar, we teach them how to use simple present.
Maksudnya udah menjelaskan dia punya awareness di
Yeah.
tempat
Kind
ini.
of text.
Atau mungkin after this one.
Sorry, what else?
Language feature.
But you said something else, simple present.
Dances. Language feature.
Language features,
Language
okay.
feature. Yeah. Kind of things. Yeah, I put it.
Generic structure, perhaps,
Yeah.
for the
Language feature
test.
and generic.
General structure.
Substantive and grammar.
So, from what I hear you saying, all of these things are which kind of knowledge?
Language knowledge.
Content knowledge.
Content.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
content.
You as an instructor, you need to know what all of these things are. If a student says, oh, well, I think that's an expository essay, you can say, no, it's not. It's a narrative, right? Because you know this content. You have to know it to be able to teach it. Okay, so what kind of pedagogical knowledge? Let's talk about simple present. And let's say that your idea is that you want your students to be able to use simple present correctly and to know when to use it.
Mhm.
Yes? Hi, how are you?
Password.
What is your pedagogical knowledge about that? How do you teach it?
It's about pedagogical.
Pedagogy. Yeah, yeah.
At the first time we teach, for the first time I teach them the example of the verb.
The verb, okay.
Yeah, I start from introducing them vocabulary.
Okay,
Relate to active verb,
okay.
and then explain the rule of simple present. Yeah, it's really classic.
That's a classic.
Yeah, really classic.
Yeah, the rule of simple present, and then show the example of the sentence.
Okay.
The correct and incorrect sentence.
So you show them correct and incorrect, you offer them the opportunity to identify which ones are correct and incorrect.
Yeah.
And then another activity, analyze or make.
Keras pintu.
What's the password?
Knock, knock, knock.
Should we let them in? Oh, hi.
Oh,
Who?
Are those students?
no, he's the staff.
Oh,
Okay, and then for another activity, like analyze simple present in the reading text.
okay.
Yes.
Do you have them create daily routines?
Yeah,
And talk
yeah.
about, everyone writes their daily routine and they ask their friend about their
Yes.
daily routine.
Yeah.
What do you do
Yeah.
every day at 8 o'clock? What
Yeah.
do you do at 9 o'clock?
And the last activity, they write about their daily activity.
They write about,
Their daily activity.
Sometimes
But
making
this is the
videos.
last after they we teach them the using of simple present.
okay. So you present to them how to use it, the verbs and the vocabulary. You show them correct and incorrect examples, and then they need to do their own work with simple present. Yeah? Because in the end, as teachers, it doesn't matter that you know, that I know what simple present is. We need to present it for the students so that they can acquire it. That's the pedagogical knowledge. So when you're thinking, how are my students going to learn this? I need to give them real, authentic practice with simple present. So we as teachers, we can talk all day long about simple present, and here's the correct form, and let's look here. Where do you see simple present? Oh, here, 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 here. Okay, and listen to me, let me show you. Okay, now take a test, and they will not know how to use it. Because your pedagogical knowledge isn't enough. Because
Yeah.
you need to think about how students learn. So that's that part. How about the technological knowledge? So if we're still thinking about a simple present, what kind of technology can you use to support students acquiring simple present?
Sometimes at the end, we instruct our students in terms of after writing something about their daily lives or daily activities, they make like a video.
Okay.
And they can use some technology like KineMaster or FIFA Video and something like they made it them by themselves. And it will be provided by technology.
Great, okay, so they can make a video, maybe they show themselves brushing their teeth. or having their breakfast, or getting on the, getting the Grab to come to class. Or
Yeah.
Okay. So then we use that technology. We tap into that for them to demonstrate their knowledge. Other kinds of technology that you can use is simple present. You can give quizzes and checks
Yeah.
online if you want.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
have them-
sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes we use quizzes.
Okay, quizzes, yeah. Yeah, what else can we do to teach them? What other technological things can we do?
Maybe they can use Microsoft Word. They can see their grammar, like simple present that they have subject and verb. So they can see is the verb appropriate with subject or not.
Okay, so they maybe looking at it through technology,
Yeah,
through type.
yeah, step support.
Can use Grammarly.
Yeah.
The last.
If the line is red, it means the word is wrong.
Oh, okay.
Google Doc, like
Oh,
Google
so they
Doc,
use the
yeah.
cues from Microsoft Word to go
Yeah,
back
speller,
and
yeah, speller checker.
you can have them listen to songs
Yeah.
in English
Yeah,
sure.
and identify simple present. That's
Yeah.
another way to use technology that taps into kids' interests. I use a lot of music when I teach English because I think it's a great way for students to acquire pronunciation and they like it. It's just fun
Yeah.
and interesting. So those are those three things, right? So you just adapted them for some real topic that you have to teach. And so you can see how those three things can come together easily. So that is TPAC. And when we talk about TPAC, we want to make sure that everybody has those three things. You are teachers, so you always have the pedagogical knowledge. Other disciplines, usually that's what they have to work on in university. I have a friend, we began our university career together. She was a biologist,
Okay.
and so she works in a lab with single cell organisms. She knows a lot about paramecia and about laboratories and about procedures. And for her, teaching that to students was so hard because she didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So usually teachers, we have, this is an easy thing for us. For our colleagues, it's not. Okay, so the other thing, while we're talking about frameworks, I wanted to tell you about this SAMR framework. Is this the one? Yes.
Some if.
SAMR. And some people call it SAMR. I think
SAMR.
Yeah,
model.
SAMR.
Summer model.
And I have a cool slide on this computer, but we'll just look at this instead. So Puente Dura, this researcher here, although I think he's a technology person, he hasn't really published scholarly articles about SAMR. He just presented this framework online, and other researchers have been like, yes, this is what we need, and so they're all using it. Okay. And this is where we think about integration of technology into classrooms. So, and it's examining the potential of technology in our classes. So, for example, the first thing that technology sometimes we can use it for is for a simple substitution. So, let's say we can't meet today in person, but we can meet on Zoom.
Yeah.
Right? So I create a Zoom, you come to the Zoom, and we hold class through Zoom in the same way that we would hold it here. That's called substitution. The technology doesn't do anything more than just allow us to do our normal thing. And we used to think that that was all technology was for. The idea was that technology would allow us to mimic or to recreate this classroom. But that's what we wanted. We wanted technology to come as close to what we do in classrooms as possible. But then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden nobody could come to university. We all had to learn new kinds of technology. And we realized, wow, technology doesn't only have to be a substitution. It can be a lot more.
Yeah.
So the next step beyond just substituting a class is augmentation. And this is where technology acts as a substitute, but also can make things better. Yeah? So for example, if we host class on Zoom I can put you in breakout rooms, right?
Yeah.
Now I can do that in class, but sometimes it gets noisy, sometimes you
Yeah.
can't, some groups aren't working. In Zoom, I can put you into breakout rooms and I can visit each room.
Yeah.
And then we can come back together. That's an example of augmentation. Or on Zoom, I can record our class, and then you can watch it later.
Yeah.
That's an example of augmentation. So it's the same thing, but a little bit better. It has that many more affordances. Then the next thing is modification. And that's where the technology allows for tasks to be redesigned. So if I'm teaching online and I have a Google form,
Yeah.
I can upload that Google form and every student in that class is working on the same form. I can't do that in class, in person.
Yeah.
I can do that online and it's very cool and the students can see each other's work and they can make a lot of changes and interact with each other on a paper. We can't do that in class without technology.
Yeah.
So that's a modification. That's where Zoom takes us to a new level. And then redefinition is an idea where you can offer a class for 1,000 people, a MOOC. Do you know this
MOOC.
word, MOOC?
Massive,
Massive
massive open.
Right.
Massive open
Oh, apa lagi?
Massive open
course.
Oh iya, oh, online course.
Online
right.
course.
Right. Massive open
Itu banyak yang menyediakan website-nya itu.
online
Course.
course.
Yang
Have you taken part in a massive online open course? You have? Was Tini? You're Tini, yes?
Tini, yes.
Tini. Has anyone else taken part in a MOOC?
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes we have.
Okay, so what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it's interesting actually, since some of the Relo American, and other universities worldwide, the whole world. I joined to the class, for example, in a grammar class, in academic writing class,
Okay.
teaching is for young learners class, and I do anything. For example, there are some feedback from them. So such as I met them in person.
Oh,
So
okay.
there is now actually it's only online, but
Right.
as if I pretending that I have a tutor that she or he directly give me feedback. It's not actually something interesting for me.
It's not interesting for you.
Interesting.
Oh.
Since we seldom to give feedback directly to the students. Perhaps once, twice, three times, but it's very intensive. I mean it's very nice for giving like MOOC from the outside Indonesia. I mean from
Okay.
abroad. And nowadays also in Indonesia we have like MOOC. Right now I am in charge with civil servant. Right now we have like civil servant MOOC. Civil servant.
Did you say MOOC?
Yeah, MOOC, because it's sometimes as the requirements for a new civil servant in Indonesia. So they have to follow first MOOC class, and after that they get certificate and they are qualified being a new civil servant in Indonesia. Now I'm still in the class
Okay.
MOOC. So there are some agendas, there is some like journaling and making quiz.
Okay.
That's it.
Mirip bimbingan belajar.
Yeah. No, it's like course, right? Canvas Canvas. Kayak Canvas begitu, Pak. MOOC. It's like a course, right? Yeah.
It's like a course?
Yeah, like course. There is some materials that we have to watch, and after that there are some PPT also, PDF, and then we have to make like journaling, summary something, and after that there will be a quiz. And after that, if we have done all of the stages, and then we get the certificate, and you can do another step of being civil servant in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool, yeah, so that sounds like a classic MOOC. Yeah?
book of Indonesia
Yeah.
civil servant.
How about the rest of you? Have you engaged in MOOC?
Kan ya, yang MOOC, yang
Apa itu
kanvas.
contohnya?
Oh iya.
Kanvas ya.
Iya.
Iya.
I sudah ikut. Yeah,
Join.
I have joined this course for 3 times.
Oh,
Apa
okay.
itu?
Yes, for
MOOC. MOOC,
Yeah.
MOOC.
MOOC apa namanya?
canvas.
Oh, di
Yes.
Canvas.
Yeah,
Canvas?
and
Yeah.
it has different
The Canvas.
kind of the classes. And the first I take the course teaching grammarly communicatively,
Okay.
and then it has and we will
PPT.
we join this
Sekarang.
course for
MOOC-nya
3
PPT 3
months.
kali.
And then every week we should we have to read the article, the material from video. It's like we are like the
this.
students.
Right.
Yes, and then there is
Okay,
there are
agenda
some
1, agenda 2.
like work that we should
Kita
do,
buat
like
jurnal, evaluasi.
having discussion
Nice.
with the other friend in this class from another country, and then the instructor will give us the
Saya juga
feedback like
kayaknya
and
belum
we said.
pas.
Did they give you feedback?
Yes, and then we have target. Cuman we should finish this course.
Uh-huh.
Yes, if we want to if we want to take the certificate, we should finish this course for 3 months, and then every meeting for each week also
Sebagai
has
peserta
the
saya.
target.
Ya, itu
And then
Sebagai
harus
peserta.
each assignment
Sebelum tahu caranya.
have the point.
di kanvas.
Yeah. It's like online course.
Saya kira
Yeah.
Canvas.
Yeah, it's like so those formats sound like they're an online course or an online training where you have to do certain things in order to receive a certificate at the end.
Hmm.
So there's, in my mind, there's a difference between a MOOC and a webinar, because I think a webinar
Oh.
is usually like one thing, or you can have a webinar series.
Okay.
But those tend to be more interactive. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A MOOC is pre-prepared materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go to them. And many times, in my experience, now it sounds like yours are better, but in a MOOC, you don't have access to the instructor. That any evaluation you have to do is like a multiple choice quiz. That
Yeah.
right? That's graded by the computer.
Berarti sudah mengikat.
Oh.
Or
Itu
that
mengikat.
you need to
Seperti
do a
mengikat ya.
journal, but it's credit or no credit. That nobody's actually
Yeah.
reading that. Because for a MOOC, you can have 800, 1,000,
Yeah.
2,000 people
Ah.
taking that class. So nobody can evaluate all that work. One thing that I've seen in
Pernah
MOOCs
kita ada.
before,
Ada yang terakhir.
Ada. Yeah. Last time we have like a MOOC class, but it like open pace, so there will be like instructor of each of us. Perhaps one instructor will handle about 10 students. Yeah, from one of the university, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
how many people were in that MOOC?
Masih.
Actually it's massive, but there are some instructors, and it will be like control from Relo at that time.
Control from?
Relo America in U.S. Embassy in Jakarta. So we are what is it at that time? We are recruited from Relo, and then we enter to the MOOC. I know that because I have different instructor with Ibu Nia and also Bu Dewi Atika at that time.
Okay. So that must have been a very well-funded MOOC.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have to pay the instructors to oversee your work, right?
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times MOOCs don't have that because they don't have money for that.
I see.
So in my experience, sometimes MOOCs are free.
Yeah.
But I saw like one prominent scholar was doing the MOOC, and the MOOC was free, but they wanted you to buy a book that
Oh.
costs $5, right? So if 1,000 people are in your MOOC and everyone buys a $5
Yeah.
book,
Banyak balik.
then that's money. But I don't know if that's typical. Anyway, so MOOCs, you can't do a MOOC without the computer, without technology. It doesn't exist, right? I
Yeah.
can,
Yes.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
have 100
yeah.
people here, 200 people here, but I can't have 1,000 people, you know, some in Africa and some in Europe and some in South America. And you know, the technology allows us to do that. So in our SAMR hierarchy,
It's include to M or R redefinition or
hold on one minute,
modification.
let's see.
Is untuk model.
Oh, I put in the wrong password.
Is
So many passwords. Okay, welcome. Yes, I don't think so. It's going to tell me in a minute. Sorry, that's wrong. One moment. Oh no, I broke it
Kenapa
now.
sedikit?
Kan saya panggil Ki.
Bilang kalau Romi Burhama ya apa kok gitu?
Duduk.
Lama minta yang kita sarancing.
Actually, si ibunya itu tadi menunggu tidak lama. Tapi kalau talking with her, it's only to us. This is second time.
This is your program or
TBI, TBI program. So we are in cooperation with Fulbright, KUI. Tapi sebenarnya semua bisa diadakan. Karena sakit semua, udah sakit, udah sakit.
Bagus kita bimbingkan orang pengalaman atau
Teknologi.
mengenal model-model seperti yang kita tidak pernah.
Tapi
Dapat
memang
sertifikat?
dapat
Saya
dong.
tidak dapat.
Apa itu?
MOC.
MOC Pak yang saya tidak lulus. Tidak selesai, Pak. Tidak sesuai target selesainya.
Ada memang yang dengan struktur, ada juga tidak. Atau kayak grammar itu tidak.
Yang grammar tidak.
Nah banyak sekali. Namanya, iya. Dapat
I want
sertifikat.
to pull up a paper that I wrote with a colleague of mine to show you how we applied the SAMR framework.
Kan pendesima.
Itu ada. Student closet poster
Evaluation. Student share their pollution poster with each other and feedback.
Tapi kan pada sini yang terkait dengan desainan kan.
Canva my fit.
Kanvas Pak. Kalau di
Beda kan kanvas dan
Canvas is like Moodle.
Iya, beda.
kalau kanvas
Kalau
khusus
Canva
mendesain.
desain.
Iya.
Desain.
Modifikasi
Kalau
redefinition.
kanvas ini nih
Iya,
biasa ada kerjasamanya sama
Works with the classmate to collaborate. Modifikasi itu sama saya.
Okay, this is
Augmentation, share their pollution, posters.
Solicit.
So in a paper that I wrote with a colleague of mine when we were thinking about COVID and the different kinds of educational technologies that we were able to use after COVID, we use this SAMR framework. Right, it goes this way, SAMR, because S and A are just enhancement. It's taking what we do and making it a little bit better, but M and R is transforming it. It's a whole new realm, not the same as what we do in a regular classroom. We describe substitution in our paper is how we use technology when we can't meet in person, like using Zoom to connect with students and using a set of slides. Like I'm doing here with you in person, we can do that on Zoom. Augmentation might involve if we use the captioning feature, right?
Captioning pictures.
Because, so if I'm on Zoom with you and I decide that I want Zoom to recognize my words and write the captions at the bottom, that's not going to happen in person. You have to figure out what I'm saying, and if you have a question, you can ask me. But on Zoom, it'll subtitle my words, right?
Yeah.
And so that's very useful and something new that technology provides that we don't have in person. So that's an example of augmentation. Or the idea that you can download, we can record our session and you can download it later and listen to it again. That's considered augmentation. And then the next two tiers, this modification and redefinition, describe uses of technology that we couldn't even imagine before, and now we can use them. So modification might be that we use audio recording tools, so students record themselves, and then they can post it to a group, and everybody can listen to them, like through WhatsApp or through a messaging platform, and then a partner needs to listen to the recording and then post an audio reply. That wasn't possible before technology. We could use a tape recorder and tape ourselves and then give our tape to our friend and then they could listen and tape record themselves.
Yes.
But that would take a few weeks of
Yes.
in-person connection. But with the tools here, they can do that as an assignment. They can do it in class. They can do it, overnight, right now. So that's a suggestion or an idea of modification. And then redefinition is if you take one of these recordings and you post it to an international community where everyone can listen to it and give feedback or post back. You can open it to this wide audience. So that's a suggestion or an example of redefinition. Here, Fuenteura gives his own suggestions. So here's a substitution, is if you use Google Earth instead of an atlas to look, instead of a map, you look on Google Earth. It's a map,
Google Earth,
right?
yeah.
But it's,
Yeah.
it's the same. Augmentation is you use Google Earth rulers to measure the distance between two places rather than looking on a map and seeing how far away two places are. Google Map has a tool that will measure the distance
Yeah.
between places. Okay, that's augmentation. Modification is that you use Google Earth layers such as Panoramio and 360 cities to research locations.
Wow.
And I know that, I don't know if any of you play those geography games where they show you a picture of a place or a street and you have to figure out which country that's in. That is an example of modification. And then a redefinition is that a student can create a narrated Google Earth guided tour and share it online. We can't do that without technology. So it's interesting to think about this SAMR scale. And when we're working with technology with students, we want to try to transform their learning processes. I mean, enhancement is good, and it helps us, and it's more comfortable for us as instructors, but we want to transform our practices to really make technology do things beyond what we can do. So that's the information that I have about TPAC and about SAMR. And I hope that as a framework, it helps you think about how you use technology. In the academic literature, when we're publishing and writing papers, we rely on these frameworks a lot. So if you're ever writing an article or something, these are two frameworks that we use. Do you have any questions or? Do you think we should continue or should we stop now? What is your schedule?
The using of Zoom when I
Yes.
using Zoom, it's difficult to control our students. How can control them easily
Right.
when I use Zoom?
So you're talking about undergraduate students?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So we have to set expectations for what we expect for students to do in class. One of those things is that, and a lot of times this is a problem with the internet connection.
Yeah.
But for my students where I don't have to worry about the internet connection, I insist that they have their camera on, that they can't turn the camera off.
Yeah,
Because
sometimes they.
Yeah.
when they have the camera off, sometimes they're in bed.
Yeah.
Or they're talking to their mom. Or
Sometimes
they're doing the dishes, right?
they wear something.
Right.
Then
Right. Sometimes they're driving. So I want the camera on. And I tell them at the beginning, these are the expectations. You need to participate either, once or twice during class, and I'm going to keep track. I want to see you answer me in the chat. That if they don't come to class or if their camera is off, that we need to have a meeting to find out why. We also have, I always include a document. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull this up quickly. Let me see if this will take me to my class. Because I teach online a lot. And, you have to set up what we call, it's not going to pull up fast enough. Let's see. Come on.
Go.
You can do it. I have faith in you. Okay. So I have a welcome. And then here I have my faculty office, which is where I say, this is who I am. I'm going to be available to you during these hours. You need to come and see me like you would here, right? It's an example of a substitution in the SAMR scale.
Yeah, substitution.
I have office hours. I'm available to you. You need to come and talk to me, right? So that's what I have here. And then there's this document about netiquette, right?
Yeah.
About how to
It's very
interact
important.
appropriately online
Yeah.
between their colleagues and with me. So it's a little video that I post, and I want them to watch and read to establish expectations for that. What else do I have them do? I guess that's all. We also have a bunch of university policies that I have on my LMS. So the minimum technical requirements that they have to have in order to participate in this, it's an online program. The whole program is online. And if they don't have those technical requirements, they can't do the program. They have to choose a different way to study. Learning tools, student services, university policies. So these are all the things that we expect from them. And so at the very beginning of the course, I say, these are the rules for engaging in Zoom. These are the rules for coming to office hours. These are the rules for writing me emails. And sometimes a student will write me an email, hey, miss, hey, miss, I missed the assignment. I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Oh.
Joe. Yeah. And so I write, dear Joe, thank you for letting me know you missed the assignment. You are going to lose X% of the score, but I will still accept it.
Oh.
By the way, this is not an appropriate way for you to write me an email. You need to start with, Dear Professor Gareca. And then you need to write, I hope you're doing okay. Like I give them the parts of it because some students don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my pedagogical knowledge, right?
Right.
I'm teaching them how to write an appropriate email. Because if I don't teach them, who's going to teach them?
Yeah.
Their other professors are not going, for me in my work, I understand that they are international students. And sometimes they don't know the etiquette of writing an email in the United States. And with other professors, that will hurt them. That will be, they'll say, what's wrong with this student? They're so rude. That's so rude. And I know that there are different forms of communicating in different places. So I take the opportunity to teach them how to write an email. And usually they're so thankful. They're like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't know. Because they're used to texting and what they see on TV, and they think that that's how you interact, right? I was having a conversation here in Indonesia the other day with a young person, and he was explaining something about his life to me, and then he looked at me and he said, "You feel me?" Okay. That's so cute. That's straight from a song, right? Oh, you feel me? Yeah, I feel you. Okay. Not appropriate for a young man to say to an older professor, right? He was asking me, do you know what I mean? Does that make sense, right? He needed other words. Okay, I didn't correct him because that's not right here. But I was just like, oh, honey, okay, no. Do you feel me? So, yes, I understand. That's what I said. I tried to recast it for him, so maybe he would realize it. But you don't know if they realize it, right? So it happens. That's not his fault. That's actually an appropriate response to someone who's his peer. But I'm not his peer. So I have to teach those things. Do you have those things with the students too here, or not so much?
A lot.
What?
A lot.
A lot? Yeah.
It happens a lot as well.
Do you teach them what's appropriate, or you just kind of?
Yeah.
I try to teach them also how to be, just like give the appropriate way of, for example, just like talking or maybe speaking to the person who is older than you. But still, sometimes they just like forgot to use that. So.
Right.
But at least they know.
Yeah. That's good. They have to learn, and with email too, because there's different genre of email between friends. Well, text is one thing. Email between friends is another thing. Email student to professor is another thing, and it can really be. It can hurt them. It can keep them from. Professors will say, "Oh, yeah, I can't ask this student to be on my research team. I can't put this student forward for a letter of recommendation." They misunderstand. So I try to help them.
Do you feel me?
You feel me? It's so cute. It's so cute. Anyway. Yeah, I have that a lot with my international students. Another thing that happens a lot in the States is that students will give too much information. So in the States, if you're sick, it's okay, right? If a student, especially the students that I teach, if a student writes to me and says, Professor, Dr. Beth, I can't come to class today, I'm not feeling well. I say, oh, okay, I'm sorry for that. That's fine. But there are other students that I have that you can tell that from wherever they come from, they have to prove to you that they are too sick to come to class. And so I've had students that give me really personal information about how they're sick, about what's happening to them, about bodily functions, like all the things. And so I get those emails and I say, I'm really sorry that you are feeling so unwell. Please let me know if there's any way that I can help you. Also, by the way, you don't have to give all these details.
Yeah.
You just say, I'm really sorry, I'm too sick to come to class. How can I make it up? And they appreciate that too. But they don't know that. So, cross-cultural.
Cross-cultural.
Yeah.
Cross-cultural understanding.
Cross-cultural.
Do you teach that class? One of you teaches that class.
Wawan.
Wow.
Teaches the class.
This
Or in the
Even semester, last semester.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
CCU.
enggak, Wawan yang selalu atau Dewi.
Wawan or Dewi.
Ya, Wawan and Dewi.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
linguistic aja.
Interpersonal meaning.
Kapan dikasih lihat ini sih
So
ya?
Anita, we were wondering.
Oh, saya tidak tahu
Multiple people
pakai
are
ini.
not here.
Maybe they have another schedule.
Right, they have another schedule, and a couple of people are sick. And
Yeah, true.
So, and so should we continue anyway? We were just kind of chatting, but I don't know what we should do.
Yes.
Setelah ini kan ada kelas. Dia kasih tau, bilang setelah ini ada lagi sama dia.
Iya.
After this, actually, you have another schedule at 1.
Right, but with them.
With us. Yeah, with us.
Ya, after lunch.
After lunch.
Yes.
So,
Iya, langsung lanjut.
Bisa Pak?
Jadi, so
Are you available?
continue or
Ada.
Oh ada kelas.
Kan
Sampai
rencana
jam
mau
berapa,
kasih
Pak?
lihat kan juga sih ya.
Sore-sore.
We
Siang lah.
we will show
Siapa
you
sih?
our
LMS.
LMS?
LMS.
our
The one that I told you.
sharing.
Right, that's what David said too, okay.
Sia.
Yes, I haven't actually used that as well, so very
Perhaps
Also e-learning.
mumpung masih ada Pak Murakmi,
E-learning
perhaps
beda dengan
he can
Iya.
show LMS.
Kalau
E-learning.
yang pakai LMS itu e-learning.
Iya, e-learning.
Sama.
Would you like to show us? Mungkin because after Zuhur, he has a class and perhaps it's a time for you. It's better to show us perhaps only for a
Bisa
few
dilihatkan
minutes.
saja sekarang.
Iya.
berarti yang setelah zuhur tidak ada di
Enggak maksudnya
Ada,
ada,
Nggak pakai
tapi
kayak
maksudnya
LMS.
untuk LMS-nya
Saya try tahun 2020.
sekarang
Bagus
saja
kita
karena
yang
mumpung ada
perlihatkan,
Bapak tah.
karena itu kan konten-konten yang kita ajarkan di
Mm-mm.
e-learning.
Could you please
E-learning.
Could you please show the example kita pakai e-learning yang kemarin?
asal punya siapa?
Ya,
Yang
tapi materi anu.
biar nggak apa-apa yang materi biasa. It's okay. Just
Saya tidak ada sih.
pokoknya kasih lihat di sini ada. Saya buka ternyata saya sudah lama sekali. It's in 2019. It's very a long time ago.
Okay,
Kita
so
Pak,
we
tapi
will
it's
show you the LMS.
Okay, great.
ada kita punya laptop.
Whose account?
Pak, kamu Ratmi, do you have? You bring your laptop or you need this one? Okay.
Yes, so like continuing even though, is that okay? Sorry, Rebecca, is that okay to, only a few people tell me? I mean, it's only us.
Yeah.
It's fine with me. I don't mind at all. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a better time. It seems like some people didn't know this was happening, so if we needed to reschedule, but if this is the time to do it, the best time, absolutely, let's do it.
Saya kan tidak lengkap.
Do you wanna connect here?
Perhaps I just need the connect to.
Oh yes, okay.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Tabet. Yuk, udah. Terbagi ya?
Sebaiknya biar ada satu pasti saja. Kalau mau dicek nanti kalau kita
Start. Login sesederhana. So we have e-learning Yayan Kendari. Dot.
Welcome.
Ya. Dan can login. Kita Pak.
Yeah. I'm afraid it's
I'm sorry.
Kabur ya.
I'm like my friend over here, I can't see either.
Ya. Oke.
Okay, Kak.
Iya. Bentar ya operator.
Sekian kita pakai ini.
Username tak?
Saya coba dulu. Apa passwordnya?
Ayo diingat.
Mana pagar?
Ya,
Pagar.
salah.
Ya.
Pagar. No.
Sorry.
Pagar ya Pak. Murah. Nih, coba. Pagar itu tuh ini kayaknya. Pagar?
Sudah kapnya tangan.
Apakah di situ Pak?
Satu pagar. Sekiranya kita bisa buka pagar.
Apakah kita? Bukan pagar ini. Oh,
Hmm.
Murah nih. Terus, huruf besar semua Pak? Atau huruf kecil?
Tidak huruf kecil.
Oke, terus ininya?
Rakmi satu pagar.
Huruf kecil semua. Rakmi satu. Huruf pagar ini yang mana ya?
Pagar.
Kayaknya. Saya. Sebentar, Pak.
Dan biasa
Pagar itu yang mana deh?
dia passwordku Pak. Saya coba buka juga.
Oh, tidak.
Kenapa?
Kenapa bisa? Tidak bisa.
Sorry, we try to log in, but we forgot the passport. Yeah, this our website is based on Moodle system.
Okay.
Moodle system. Yeah, we can using for teaching, and we provide the material and examination here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Murakmi
Murakmi
Ghazali.
Murakmi satu pagar.
Satu pagar. Bismillah. That's going
Sorry.
on.
No, it happens all the time.
Ah.
Do they make you change it every once in a while? Because that's what happens to me. They make
Coba,
me change it
sebentar.
every 2 or 3 months, and then I can't remember.
Coba Pak, tabe. Lagi.
Kita tidak ingat kah?
Itu coba login.
Login.
Nggak bisa tidak lengkap. Tidak ada kursusnya, lama sekali nih.
Success but no content.
It's very.
Ada ini.
Tapi
Ini.
tidak 100%.
Ya.
I was surrender with this the internet connection, then it won't be like 100% success. Only 90%, 54%.
What does that 54% mean?
It's like the completion.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Completion of the website or completion of
completion
the student?
of the meetings that I provide
Okay.
at the time. But unfortunately, because of the connection, then I was surrender with this e-learning. I'm sorry.
Kita jelaskan ya.
So like this is like announcement for my student. It is general English for Indonesia for Arabic class. So they are not for English education department. Then sometimes I use code mixing here. I use Indonesian, I use English. And when I want to give announcement, I just directly put here. And then this is about the lesson plan. Okay.
Attendance.
The attendance list. And for example,
When you say lesson plan, is that syllabus? Okay.
Yeah.
The
syllabus, sorry,
students-
yeah.
okay.
The syllabus
Okay.
just directly come here and they can directly download it like here. And then after that, for the meeting 2, it's on like announcement, meeting 3, this is the task. I give them, just open the task, and it can be like directly downloaded.
Okay. That's
And
good, because then when they're in Wi-Fi, they can download it. And then
Yeah.
they can have it to do later if they're not in Wi-Fi.
Mm.
Yeah.
And like meeting 4, I need them to make like videos of introduction. In meeting 4 it's too late actually, but because they are very basic in learning English, so like step by step doing the topic 5 and so forth until topic 16, and I will surrender here. There's no topic that, so that like 90% completion only.
Itu bagus kasih.
Because at that time we have like hybrid. 50% online and 50% is offline. So we can switch.
Blended online.
Yeah,
Blended.
blended at
Yeah,
that time.
blended.
2020,
Yeah.
2020 at that time. And I haven't used it again because of sometimes if they want to submit the what is it, the task, it should be only 2 megabyte. So a little bit
It's
limit.
Right, what's the with videos need to be that or any assignment?
Yes, yeah, whatever. What kind of in all of the terms could be PDF, could be WhatsApp. No, sorry, could be in text, Word, PDF, and also video. Sometimes for video because of the date, the capacity. I just tell them to put the link. Perhaps they upload it to YouTube and then they just directly send the link, and I can go there.
Can they submit the link on the e-learning?
Yeah, yeah.
That's good, that's
We,
good.
we can also give
Oh, grade it.
of students. They can see the grade.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Right, okay. So it sounds like it has all the functionality of a good LMS, right? It's just a question of it being easy to use with students having access to the internet and also for them understanding that this, you have to be consistent
Yeah.
with its use for the students to use it. It's like you have to train them. This is how my class goes. This is how I have to check. And that takes time.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah.
Because we have some classes to handle, so sometimes I think that there are overloading tasks that I have to do. I can schedule my time, and it's about the time management actually.
Right, right.
Then
In this LSM also have the video feature, okay, like Zoom.
yeah, we have BBB, if I'm not mistaken.
What is BBB?
Yeah, I forgot the.
Kayak nge-Zoom itu Pak, gak juga tapi.
Yeah, we can do like Zoom meeting,
Ano namanya? Apa? Ada namanya.
like this one.
Agak berbeda dengan Zoom.
Iya beda jadi.
Like this one B. We have
And so what happens?
at that time we can join session,
Okay.
and then we record. I don't know exactly why it is not recorded here, but I remember at that time we have like a Zoom meeting,
Like Zoom meeting.
Ya.
join session, if I'm not mistaken. Ya, apa namanya BBB, if I'm not mistaken.
Blue.
Blue.
Apa lagi namanya?
Yeah, big blue button.
Big blue
like-
button.
Like this
Oh,
one.
BBB blue button.
Yeah.
Webcams, audio, breakout. We can break out BBB.
What's BBB?
BBB. This one like.
Oh, yeah, it seems to have good functionality.
Itu coba
I
webcam
remember
sih,
I have done it.
kan?
Forgot.
Atau coba webcam yang kita klik, coba bagian webcam.
Just like start recording.
Oh, langsung start saja.
Iya.
Oh, start recording.
And then start recording, and then we try to. This one is for recording,
Iya.
webcam, and so forth.
But sometimes it doesn't work because our students have low internet connection in their another place.
Right, right.
And then the last time I used this
Join session.
2020 COVID-19.
COVID during COVID, right? Yeah.
Make a grade.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard, right? We all had to
Yeah.
start using these things in COVID. But I guess something that happens in universities in the US is that sometimes students need to pay a fee as part of the university, which is like an internet fee. That's part of their tuition. And so that money goes toward creating better Wi-Fi on campus. And so if the students don't have good Wi-Fi at home, at least they can come to the university and do their work. So that's one funding source to make the Wi-Fi better in classrooms here. I mean, I think it's solvable. It's just the university needs to decide to solve it. What about, I wanted to ask you something. Oh, so the other thing that is important about these LMS systems, particularly if you all are teaching the same students at different semesters, is for there to be some training, with you all about how to use it and how to set up your system consistently.
Yeah.
So that first semester, right, you know this, first semester they learn how to read the announcements, how to submit their work, how to receive their grades. Second semester, maybe you do video. Third semester, maybe they post things for their colleagues, right? So but everybody's LMS looks the same, so that for the students, when they come back to, for the new semester, they know how to do it. If it's new every semester, then each one of you is having to, as we say, reinvent the wheel. This is where you post this. This is where the announcements are. Oh, miss, I couldn't find it. Oh, mister, I didn't know how to submit it. I couldn't find the button. And then you have to get things late, or they're sending them to you through WhatsApp, or they're sending them to you through email, which for a teacher is like, no, that's too much, right? So if you all can come together as a department and make it consistent, then I think that it will save a lot of headaches and become much more efficient. Are you under pressure to use this? Does the university say you must use this?
No, it's optional.
It's optional. Okay.
Free.
It's free?
Free. Bebas.
We also should learn first before we apply
Yeah.
this to our students.
Right. Will the university provide trainings for you to learn how to do it, or you have to learn it on your own?
By this.
You have to learn by
Individually.
I mean, independent.
But we can
Autonomous.
download the guidelines on the website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess there is
There is
guidelines.
guidelines available.
Guidelines on the
Yes.
website?
Yeah.
So we can learn it individually by this guideline.
Oh, is these are your assignments?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
2010.
Yeah, if we have completed and we have to check here.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why actually, because I'm not really competent in this one, I just try to use it, try to maximize the time for doing this. Sometimes I give a question, yes, attendance list, and so forth.
Iya, ada yang upgrade
Well,
baru yang bagus.
In my university, we are under a lot of pressure to use it. We're expected, everybody is expected to have your website, in my case, Brightspace, set up. We have to have it. Because say next semester I'm sick and I can't teach my classes, they can bring someone else in and that person can teach my class because all the materials are there. Right now, because I'm in Indonesia, I'm not teaching a class. And I have a colleague who's teaching my class. And my videos from me are
Yeah.
up on my class, and the students are like, who's that? But, oh well, I have the video, I'm teaching the material, and my colleague is teaching my class. So it's a lot of, what we say, it's a lot of work on the front end, but it relieves work over semesters as you teach the same class again and again. And it's nice because you always know where your course information is. It's not like it used to be in my office where I'd say, oh, I have to give the students this reading today and the photocopier is broken,
Yeah.
right? So I guess I can't find the book. I must have lent the book to someone. I can't find the book I was going to use today. When you have it all on the LMS, everything is there for you and for your students. It's a really good tool. It's and it makes you organized.
Yeah, just organized.
And even though you can spend hours and hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours fixing this, or you can do it more simply. So sometimes I don't know if I can show you. Maybe can I show you?
Yeah, sure.
Let me find what I'm looking for first.
Orang makutsu ini.
tinggal kita.
Orang
Kalau
makut.
terlanjur kita
Orang
sudah,
makut tuh bikin nih.
kalau kita
Cuma
sudah
lima pertemuan, 6 ke bawah tidak ada.
kalau kita sudah pernah bikin ini bagus. Kita
Malu-malu
kita punya materi tidak susah.
Iya. Tidak ada topik. Kacau kita dalam dasar. Mana sudah lupa. Kamu yang lengkap dah lupa password.
Tidak, karena biasa Pak sudah tersimpan tuh Pak di laptop
Iya.
kita. Jadi sisa langsung saja login karena sudah tersave.
Begitu. Aja nah biarkan dia begitu.
Supaya tidak ramai.
Menyesali kemalasanku.
Kalau kita sudah terlanjur nih, tahu kan?
Bagaimana ke kelas?
Apalagi kita pakai video.
Sesuatu pakai itu. Pakai saja. Sebenarnya. Astagfirullah.